Don't forget The Driver, the show to help you come to terms with Brexit television. The Guardian. We use cookies to improve your experience on our site and to show you personalized advertising. To find out more, read our end. Don't forget The Driver is the first time Jones has written for a show as well as starring in it, expanding a screen acting career that includes metal-detecting comedy and M. Night Shyamalan's twisty thriller on TV, and leading roles in the movies Infamous, where he stars as Truman Capote, and unsettling Sonic horror. Crouch and Jones. The West Sussex resort has long been an English punchline, due to the similarity of its name to a rugged expletive. Bugger Bognor. There's a history of locations being angered by their depiction on film, but Crouch has no fear of Bognor telling him to bugger off. Anyone who had it. Jones was less interested in the place than the protagonist. Coach drivers. The paradox is that drivers have no authority over the passengers, but have to take responsibility for strangers' lives, says Jones. You can't be drunk. The pair went on a number of coach trips for research, including an outing to a donkey sanctuary, and a 2-stop excursion taking in a Commonwealth War cemetery in France and a Dunkerque, a town on the French-Belgian border that is almost wholly devoted to selling cheap cigarettes and booze to European day trippers. And the fact that you can go to a war memorial on the way there struck me as a very rich double bill, which really unlocked the whole thing for me, adds Jones. That day out ended. Scriptwriting duos vary between those who sit side by side at a keyboard and those who email drafts between their studies. Don't forget the for Crouch, unused to the world of TV, the exhaustive vetting of scripts for potential legal or editorial infringements came as a surprise. A mention of the also cut was a scene of the coach full of day trippers returning to the UK. The legal department said we couldn't be explicit about how they crossed the channel. If we had them going, as well as writing half the scripts. Jones also doubles up in the cast, playing both Pete and his ounce-based twin, Bazza, who pops up via Skype or the Bognor Regis live webcam. Jones claims that the Bognor Australia conversations, says Jones, reflect a key theme of the series. I think the implications of the digital revolution are only just beginning to be understood. The comedy of Don't forget The Driver starts on BBC Two on April 9th.
Raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking the hot bar. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park.